The sound of now. Now. NileFM Aware.
Indeed, it is NileFM Aware. Welcome to a new episode of the show. Today with me in the studio, the co-founder of the organization Talida and the founder of the Educate Me initiative. Stay tuned. With me in the studio today, as I mentioned, is the founder of the Educate Me initiative or program. I don't exactly know what to call it. What is Educate Me?
Some people call it program, some people call it initiative, but we actually refer more to it as a community or a mindset or a social enterprise. Just call it whatever you want.
What exactly do you guys do?
We're under the legal umbrella of our own NGO Talida, and what we try to do now is develop this educational approach or a non-formal educational curriculum that inspires children to go after what they want in life, to figure out what they want, what their goals are, what their dreams are, and figure out how they can themselves go after them through mobilizing the resources around them, through looking inside them to see what talents they have and what they're capable of. So for example, instead of forcing children to study something specific, we ask them what they actually would like to do. So children have the total freedom to choose what they want to learn, what they want to do on a day-to-day basis. And if whatever they want is not here in the classroom, what we do is that we encourage them to choose anything, so they have absolute freedom to choose swimming, horseback riding, to learn Chinese, to go to Aswan, whatever they want. But then comes the responsibility of them figuring out how they're going to get the resources that gets them there. So if they need money, they have to find out what they can do in order to get this money and do what they want to do. So we empower them to actually fundraise. So they sit there, they plan, they come up with ideas of stuff they can do, stuff they know how to do or they can learn to do, and then we arrange for them an entire gallery or exhibition where they can sell their products, get the money they need, and then pursue their whole path.
I'm very interested. How did this idea come to be? I mean, why did you venture into this field?
The idea initially came very spontaneously. I was out there on the streets one day and I met a beggar, and I found that he dropped his daughters out of school because he couldn't pay 200 Egyptian pounds a year. And so I decided to come back to this guy and check if what he's saying is true or not. And I took him to school, and then I realized that he was actually right. I decided to start this very small initiative that finds all those school dropouts in the very underprivileged areas and send them back to school. And this was the beginning of Educate Me, and it was only a Facebook page 2 years back. And then my co-founder now in Talida, who is Mohammed Al-Haw, was with me in the multinational I used to work in back then. And then he started telling me that he can coach me in order to get this thing much bigger, in order to tap upon teachers, tap upon the community and the parents, and how to make this an entire holistic model that really develops children in so many aspects. And so we started shifting into building the character of these children, primarily through getting content that's already made and trying to deliver it. But then we started feeling that this is really not going to get us anywhere. This is not what we want for these children, and it's not about just getting content and delivering it. It's not about curriculum. Education is not really about that. Education comes from the word extract, and it's really about extracting what's inside you rather than just filling you with tons and tons of information that you're not going to use.
So very true. Although a lot of people in Sanaway Amma would agree that it is extracting here, but it's extracting their soul, not anything else.
Yeah, I'm one of them actually. Yeah, I suffered that myself. So instead of just like forcing children or directing them where we think is right, we went out there and we asked them, what would you like to do? And we found that they actually have a much better idea what they want, with respect to what we think is right for them or what we think they need. So we started shifting our focus after experimenting this with 10 children, age group from 7 to 13, and we found that those children were quite creative and they spot on found what they were interested in. They were interested in sports back then, and then they came up with all those ideas of how they can fundraise and so on. So it actually worked, and then we found that this is really what the children want, and no matter how hard we would have tried to guess, it wouldn't have been right.
Yasmin, what a wonderful initiative you guys are doing right now. And you're telling me about the community center that you rented out next to Talbiya. Now you have a physical presence as well. The 130 students that you've put back into school that through your sponsorships. It's very, very admirable. What are your plans for the future?
So right now we're renovating and furnishing our community development center to start expanding first to the 135, including them all into our non-formal educational model, and then expand through Talbiya itself, cover up all the children in there, start also working with the parents through helping them with family counseling and helping them with reading and writing because it's something they've also requested. At the same time, we want to start getting in more people who can help with the formal education because this is not something we're very good at. So getting people who can help the children with their studying and so on and so forth. So over the next 3 years, what we plan to do is to cover up this area entirely, to fully develop our model and pilot and test it. I forgot to tell you that actually more than 98% of our organization is based on volunteers. We're only 2 full-timers right now. So getting in more people to help us out, getting more brains working on this because this is something that's very progressive, very unconventional. So we want more and more input on it. So getting more people to work with us on the idea itself and on the implementation of it. So expanding also in terms of volunteers because these are also beneficiaries of ours, not just the children.
That's very, very cool. So actually that leads me to the logical question after that. If I want to be involved, if I want to get involved, how do I do that?
The easiest way to find us is through our Facebook page, which is facebook.com/educatemeegypt. You can also find us on Twitter on educatemeegypt. Through Facebook, you can either post on our wall or you can email us at educate-me@talida.org. And Talida is TALEEDA.
Yasmin, I thank you for your efforts so far. I wish you guys were around to teach me, my second grade Arabic teacher this kind of stuff. But hey, better late than never. Thank you very much. It's been an absolute pleasure having you here, and I wish you the best of luck. And I sincerely hope that you guys will be back to talk some more about your future plans once they're executed, and tell me, update us on the status of Educate Me and what you guys have done in that neighborhood and with your community center. Yasmin, it's been truly a pleasure having you on the show.
Thank you, Adham.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. That's a wrap for today's show, ladies and gentlemen. And next week, there will be another episode of NileFM's Aware, another guest, another social initiative, or another development program that really needs to have the spotlight or be shed on it, and one more initiative that helps Egypt move forward. Of course, as I mentioned, if you have one of those initiatives, do email us at aware@nilefm.net. That's aware@nilefm.net. Send me an email and tell me that there is an initiative that is worth looking at, that is worth pursuing, and we will help. That's it from me. I'll catch you next week.